Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it again with more patch updates. And this one is going to be from an external website over here, Prydwen, and their tier list, because we've got a new character, Denia, added to the game, new teams that have grown some meta relevance, and of course, some shifts that are occurring when it comes to the overall value. And of course, the performance of all the units listed out over here. So without further ado, we've got the changelog for the second half of the 3.3 patch, and I'm ready to dive in. Let's go ahead and see what this one is all about. 21/05/2026, WhiWa's anniversary. Alongside Denia's release came a much-needed Whimpering Wastes update due to her not only massively boosting the performance of the character she works with, but also due to the particularly noteworthy HP inflation. That changed how nuke-based characters perform compared to consistent damage characters. Yep, 20%, if we're going to be exact. 20% HP inflation that has occurred in this game mode down here. And I'm going to be honest, it's kind of fucked it up completely. Yeah, it's made a lot of characters, like, straight up not very good at all. So, yeah, excited to see how the list is shifting over there. They're going to detail the Whimpering Waste stuff later. So, let's focus on the TOA for now. So, Denia is going to be added in as a tier 0 sub DPS. Unsurprising placement for our newest buffer for Luke, and also a basically equal second to Lene for Imeth. And this is my personal take. I think that Denia is definitely tier 0 for Luke. Without a doubt, 100%, Denia makes Luke a tier 0 unit, and Luke makes her a tier 0 unit. On the other hand, I don't feel like Denia and Imeth in single target is that good. Maybe it's like strong. I don't think it's near the same level of a Toon Rupture team though. Like straight up, I think the Toon Rupture team just deals more damage. I do think that if you're quick swapping with Denia and Imeth, then you get a lot of stuff going. But aside from that, from the testing that I've done, yeah, like the Chisa Denia Imeth team, it's more of a WhiWa one for me. Maybe I'll be convinced of something else later on in the future, but I think just simply due to the fact that her in Strain mode is this good, it's an easy tier 0 replacement, and you don't gotta think too much about her Fusion Burst performance. So yeah, Denia's a powerhouse composed of good damage, strong buffing, and a fast rotation. One of the fastest ones I've seen in the game, to be honest. And while she works nowhere else, her performance alongside two other tier 0 DPS is without a doubt worthy of tier 0 herself. She basically kind of should have the partner tag at this point. I think you should put the partner tag on her, because if people just pull her thinking that they're going to get a tier 0 character, but they don't have Luke and they don't have Ameth, bro, this unit is useless. If you don't have her, or sorry, him, or you don't have her, she is useless. Like, legit, you will not do anything with her on your account. Like, she's just going to be a brick sitting there, absorbing sunlight, doing nothing. It's like a plant, but worse. Plants provide oxygen. She just eats your fucking RAM. Speaking of Luke, Denia has boosted his damage potential significantly due to having a kit that is truly synergistic with him, outclassing Lene and making him reach the top. Yeah, Luke Herson currently is disgusting. Let me just say that. Luke Herson as like a DPS character right now is legitimately disgusting. If you are ever in a situation where you have him, maybe you picked him up, you're using him on a standard weapon or something, Denia's going to make him really good. He rivals the top performing DPSs in the game at this point. So yeah, Emil is finally in tier 0, ladies and gentlemen. Tier 1.5 down to tier 2. On the other hand, while Sanhua is still the best free-to-play option for Luke, only working as a replacement for him and a choice for Camellia isn't particularly noteworthy when both Lene and Denia work just fine as replacements for Luke and Camellia's damage ceiling. And, or for Luke, and Camellia's damage ceiling doesn't compare to newer DPS. So basically, Sanhua is getting bumped down because Denia is now in the game. Fair enough to me. And now Chakona, getting bumped down. I like this. While Chakona is still easily ideal for Cardathia and also for Sigrika with her signature, she's still too easily replaced by general supports that work just as well for cheaper in the Sigrika team, and Cardathia isn't at the peak of the game's damage anymore outside of Quick Swap. But then Imeth beat her with Quick Swap. Compared to the hybrids in tier 0, Chakona doesn't belong but is comfortably placed in the lower tier of the Apex character bracket, still remaining top tier. So Chakona's basically getting bumped down because Cart isn't as great anymore, and Chakona is good in the Sigrika team, but not to the level of fucking making the team disgustingly, amazingly, ridiculously good. Chisa, tier 0.5 to tier 0, and Watch list tag removed. So basically, Chisa is now one of the best supports in the game. With Denia's release, it's finally time for Chisa to make her grand entrance into Tier 0. Just a solid 6 fucking months after she released, by the way. She came out in November, like mid-early, late November, around that time frame. So, yeah. We thought she was going to be good on release because she'd have a lot more negative status characters. Then they released none of them until Imeth. Then suddenly we got Imeth and Hiyuki and Denia in like 2 updates. So, yeah, she got a lot better very recently. So yeah, being the best support available for Imeth Fusion Burst, Hiyuki, and Cardathea, all 3 of which are top meta contenders. Which is, yeah, if you have 3 tier 0 to tier 0.5 DPSs that only use support, then yeah, you should be top tier yourself. She's expensive though. Really expensive. And she only has 1 use still in End State Matrix. We all know, right? The whole like Chisa situation over here. Bro, they need to fix that. Yeah, no, she needs 2 uses in this game mode. She needs the 2 uses in this game mode because she has 3 teams to work with right now. And the end result, guys, is that, like, you will only be able to use her 1 time, and then what do your Hiyuki teams do? Like, just literally go fuck themselves. And now as a buffer, is being bumped down. So with Augusta's performance not being as strong as other tier 0.5 DPS and only being noteworthy with Jian outside of that, there's not a lot of heavy attackers in the game. As a hybrid isn't as desirable as she used to be due to not finding any new noteworthy teas since release, warranting a tier drop. Yeah, basically what I've been saying. Yuno's good if you really want like a bunch of 4 fun teams, but as like a meta strength character, you need more heavy attackers in the game currently. You only have Augusta. Chuyan, for example, stays in tier 0 because he's got so many echo skill damage buffers to buff. He's got Galbreda, he's got he's got Sigrika, he's got Frolova. A lot of characters, right? With some blend of echo skill damage in their kit that he can work with. Yuno's got Jian and Augusta. And technically Chuyan, but you're just trolling. Bro, this is a massive fucking changelog. Anyways, Cantarella, tier 1.5 to tier 2. Cantarella's too easy to replace in the Frolova team, being the single team where she's good. So, yeah, they're dropping her down because there are other options available. Though, I would say, since this is kind of like looking at performance, maybe you could have kept her in tier 1.5 because she is good with Frolova. It's just she's good nowhere else. And Brant, dropping as well because he can be too easily replaced in modern fusion teams like Mornier or technically, I guess, Denia. But, like, I don't really know very many teams where Brant is getting replaced by Denia, my friend. But maybe I'll be convinced. And Camellia getting bumped up. Thank God. She did not belong in tier 3, bro. Her company in tier 3 was like Havoc Rover. Bro, she was in like the Havoc Rover Ling Yang tier. Now, Zani bumped down to tier 1.5, down half a tier, and then her expert tag is adjusted. Awesome. Zani's baseline performance is undeniably quite subpar, and she requires quick swap related optimizations to be up to speed with modern DPS units. Basically, Zani with no quick swap is actually like just not clearing endgame nowadays. It actually just does not clear. So the idea is that she needs to quick swap to actually have like clearable scores nowadays in the present. And so they're adding the expert tag +2 to fully reflect that, which is accurate. That's the reality. Like, it's just, looks like Sate was right again. You can't disagree with this. Like, this is just facts here. There's not much more else to say. If you don't agree with this, you don't own Zani as a character. So just shut the fuck. And now we got Phoebe. Drop down and then expert tag added. Makes sense to me because you gotta play Phoebe. If she's a hybrid in the supporting role, she has to be played with quick swap because she only works with Zani, and Zani has to be played quick swap. So you quick swap. Same idea with Spectre Rover. Ah, I see. You saw my video. Yeah, no, the Prydwen guy saw my fucking video because this is literally what I said. All 3 of these characters need to be bumped down and have the expert tag added to them. And it all makes sense to me because they're all only used on 1 team and they all need a quick swap on that 1 team they're used on. There you go. And now, Bu Ling. Drop down. Does not belong in the same tier as Spectrum Rover and generally outclassed by Verena. Well, I guess she's the best out of all the outclassed supports. Baija is just a worse Bu Ling, so she's getting bumped down too. And other characters' expert tags were also adjusted to better account for damage optimization, while others were removed. Interesting. We'll figure out what that looks like later. That's the changelog. I, at a baseline, agree with almost all of the changes. So let's go ahead and see now what the placements are looking like with all of that in mind. So starting off in tier 0, what do we got going on over here? All right, so we got the 3 musketeers, the three females. Imeth, Hiyuki, Sagrika. Makes sense to me. These are all 3. I don't think anyone can deny that these 3 are the highest DPS characters in the game, like without any crazy rotations, quick swap, any of that. And Luke is now up there because of Denia. And Denia's up here because, well, she's technically supports 2 tier 0 characters. But this is my personal take. Imeth on Fusion Burst form is like tier 0.5 in TOA. I'm going to be real with you. I don't think it's tier 0 if she's in Fusion Burst form. So that means that Denia would support a tier 0.5 team and then a tier 0 team. Is that enough to be tier 0? I think it is, especially with how actually good Luke is. So works for me. I don't think it's like that wild of like a, I don't think it's like that wild of a take over here to place her there. And she does have room to grow. However, I do wonder, man, what happens when another Toon Strain DPS comes out? She probably stays up there. So yeah, no further commentary here. Then we got Lupa. I mean, Lupa does have a new team with Denia. And I guess Lupa can be used with Imeth over here, but is it like, I guess she is usable with Imeth, but like, that's kind of like it. And are you using Imeth with Lupa anymore after Denia got added? Probably not. Does she still belong here? Maybe. I don't know. I would just look into maybe bumping her up or down just based off of the fact that, like, sustainless fusion burst. I suppose you could do that if you're really desperate for a team in End State Matrix, you can do it. But yeah, it's like you need like a 3rd Sonata set for your Denia. She needs to be on Flaming Claw Print. It's a fucking disaster, so I don't even recommend it. Lupa on Moonlit, Denia on Claw Print does better. Oh, so you're just gonna build 3 Sonata sets for your fucking... You're gonna build 3 Sonata sets for your Denia. Is that what we're doing nowadays? Oh, okay, sure, man. Yeah, oh, alright, bro. Do you realize how retarded that sounds and why I don't recommend it to anybody? You already building 2 fucking sets for her, bro. You're gonna build a 3rd? Couldn't she just use Lupa's Echoes? Well, great. Now you're still building a 3rd, bro, if you're using Lupa's Echoes, because did Lupa pull the new set of Moonlit Clouds Echoes out of her asshole? Moonlit for Mortefi. Oh, okay. You got a good Moonlit set for Mortefi? You can see what's going on over here. Other tier 0 sub DPS characters that we're going to be having are Lene and Chuyan. I don't think anybody can disagree with those picks. Yeah, very general, very wide usage, very, very strong as well, and good buffs on all these characters. So, yeah, makes sense to me. Tier 0 support's pretty much all the same, except for Chisa getting bumped up because Denia got added to the game, and now Chisa has 1, 2, and 3 DPS characters in very high tiers that she's supporting. Makes sense, and then these other 2 characters are broken. Moving down, tier 0.5, the DPS is essentially the same. I do wonder if it's worth putting Imeth in her 2 forms separately on the tier list. I think it would help actually a little bit to see tier 0.5 Fusion Burst Imeth down here, especially for TOA. I think that would actually help round it out a bit, because I don't think anyone can deny the Rupture form is way better in single target than the Fusion Burst form. Maybe add an expert tag to the Fusion Burst form over here, and like +1 or +2 or something. I don't fucking know. And now Chakota being bumped down to be the only tier 0.5 DPS. Okay, or sub DPS. I see. So I think they just wanted to bump Yuno down, and they were like, all right, who's the worst sub DPS out of these 5? Let's bump them down to tier 0.5. And Chakota, I think, fits the bill. Marina being down here too also makes sense. And then the only tier 1 DPS we have right now is Carlotta. Isn't Gion's Mono Arrow team a tier 1 team? The Chakota, Gion team. That's a tier 1 team at... Just bump it up. It's better than all of the teams over here. Just like do it at this point. Because like right now, you only have 1 unit over here in tier 1. He's the best out of all 4 of these units in tier 1.5, and it's noticeably better than all these units in tier 1.5. So like, what are we doing here? Good to see Zani bumped down with the expert tag added. Brant, is Brant really that bad nowadays? Yeah, I guess it's technically. He's not used that often. It's not like anyone's had a chance to pull him. Phoebe. Dude, I feel like Phoebe's damage is really fucking bad nowadays. It's like, it almost like doesn't clear stuff. If like Zani is barely clearing stuff, I don't think Phoebe really is either, but who knows. Mortefi down here in tier 1.5. I don't think there are enough heavy attackers, but I guess his performance with Augusta is good enough. I suppose, yeah. But in a similar vein, if you bump down Sanhua, because maybe Mortefi's up here because Gian is better than Camellia. I guess I could see that. And then Spectral Rover, Expert Tag +1. Yeah, that works for me. Niche characters. Okay, Camellia is now in Jinsei and Encore tier. That looks a lot better, doesn't it, guys? Right? Because before, Camellia was here. This was her company. Ling Yang and Havoc Rover. So that was tier 3. Now she's back in tier 2. Works for me. Jinsei and Encore also in here with some expert tags too. True, they can be quick swapped. And now you got Cantarella down here, Changli down here, Jeja down here, and then fucking Phoebe down here. Holy shit. I don't think Cantarella's this bad. Because when Cantarella is with Frolova, she is good. So it's like, it's not like there are like better alternatives for Frolova. This is like Frolova's best option. And I know she can be replaced, but she's still better than her replacements. And then we got Booling over here. Who knows? Maybe she'll get bumped up when like Electro Flare eventually ends up coming out, but it ain't here yet. And now we got the Rejects of Society down here. Makes sense to me. Yeah, these units all fucking suck. Like, you're never using any of these units in TOA anymore. All the movements, all the shifts, all the reasoning, it makes sense to me, but good golly gee, they bumped down a lot of fucking people. Some of the categories do look a little bit fucked up though. Like tier 1 in particular just looks like it's like, is this right? Is tier 1 right? You have 3 units in there. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I feel like there's more. Definitely more characters I think could be bumped up into tier 1. Maybe that's the point that I'm making. That's going to be the TOA tier list. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the WhiWa one. The WhiWa list is apparently meant to be like a thick one over here with all the HP inflation, all of that's occurred. Since last reset, enemies have had 20% overall less HP than this one. That's terrible fucking wording. Can we just say this reset saw a 20% increase in HP? Not... Last reset was 20% lower than what the fuck? We noticed 2 main things impacted the meta significantly. Okay, this is holy shit. Nuke-based characters like Carlotta, Imeth, and Hiyuki were affected way less by enemy HP increasing to the point where their wide AoE nukes, composing most of their WhiWa potential, still one-shot enemies or get close to it, compared to characters with the ability to deal damage to enemies constantly and consistently, like Camellia, Gian, and Frolova. What they're saying is that the teams that are dealing damage more consistently are suffering a lot more, while the teams that were overkilling, dealing a shit ton of damage with one attack, your Hiyukis, your Imeths, your Carlottas, they're doing just fine because they can't even one-shot enemies now. Just so you all know, I did a 600k Hiyuki liberation and there were still enemies alive. The elite wave of enemies survives a 600k nuke, just so you guys know. Denia also single-handedly made Imeth and Luke go from niche to the team with the probably highest ceiling in the case with Imeth, and a single-target nuke-based DPS is now very viable in the case of Luke. This is unironically what the HP inflation has done. It made Luke more viable because Luke has a massive burst, right, on his Gavel Slam and his Liberation. Those were massively overkilling enemies before, and now they just don't. So it's kind of just like, oh, it actually works out somewhat okay for him because undeniably the HP inflation makes him better. Denia's kit is similar to Frolova's in the sense that it has insane crowd control utility. Denia groups enemies every 4 seconds. And they both do high damage in a short amount of time, respected to their class since Denia is a hybrid. This made the placement of Imeth and Luke change as follows. Imeth goes from tier 1.5 to tier 0.5 with an expert tag +1. You can basically quick swap on the Imeth team between Chisa, Denia, whoever else she's with no issues at all because none of the outros expire. And so basically it becomes one of the best WhiWa team in the game if you just want to get Giga Sweaty with it. Then Luke, tier 3 to tier 1.5 with the expert tag +1 removed and then the partner tag added. So basically Luke now becomes a tier 1.5 character, which is not really that good. And I think that's fair, considering that he kind of has to work for a 2.5k, but he can get a 2.5k. That's still not amazing, but like you get what's going on. And also, Denia's not playable on side 1. The side where you have Concerto only, Denia is not a character if she only has Concerto. She needs her liberation, otherwise she does not exist. And in the case of Denia, added as a tier 0.5 with the expert tag +1 added. Still not as convincing results-wise as Chu Yan for casuals, but definitely there with Quick Swap. That's why the expert tag is there. Those moves make sense to me. Now they got some other revisions based off the HP inflation. Hiyuki, tiers 1 to tier 0.5. Just what I was expecting. Because Hiyuki hits so hard, she still has no problems handling groups of enemies with very high HP, meaning she's much better in performance than characters below her, but still may see further improvements with Lucilla's release, so her watch tag list is sustained. Yeah, so she might be tier 0 with Lucilla in the future. We'll see. This also means Chisa's gonna get a raise too. Chisa, tier 1 to tier 0.5 with an expert tag +1, so she can be tier 0. Very strong use case for Chisa in both Hiyuki and Imith teams, making Chisa particularly interesting in quick swap compositions, but also for Hiyuki in general. Yes, Hiyuki is a good WhiWa character, guys. I've been saying Hiyuki's a good WhiWa character since her release, but now y'all are finally realizing it too. She's actually very strong. Probably the best support we have for WhiWa, since Frolova and Sigriga compositions tend to not run one, except for Chisa, or at best Shorekeeper, who shares Chisa's tier. Frolova and Sigriga compositions, the only support they end up running is like a Cantarella or maybe like a Shorekeeper. Otherwise, they can go sustainless all the time with no real issues at all because they CC so much. And now here's the bombshell. This is a nuke. Oh my lord. Wait, we might have to say Prydwen ruined WhiWa after this one. We're dropping like 17,000 characters. What the fuck? Is it even worth looking at this? Bro, is it even worth looking at this? Holy shit, they fucking pillaged the village. Oh my god. Alright, I'm just gonna go through the list later on. There's a total of 23 character placements getting lowered. HP inflation hit hard on everyone's scores. We did a full retesting of every team in the game to confirm this. You'll find that almost exclusively above are characters that were performing not because of their damage ceiling, but because of their ability to consistently damage enemies over time. However, a higher damage ceiling is now favored in WhiWa, and the game mode has become a damage first, AoE second, instead of the other way around. So, low-key, someone like the Nuki Bursty character... Yo, Jinxie might be better now, guys. Think about it, Jinxie might have gotten buffed. Yo, she can't overkill shit now. While Frolova's outstanding kit grouping-wise with high damage to back her up still makes her the most desired DPS, it won't be much more HP inflation until Imith and Hiyuki start outperforming her outright. You have been warned. So yeah, basically, HP inflation favors these Nuki characters way more. Because if they're still alive and the next wave isn't coming in, blah, 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 you ain't getting no points. And so the faster you can kill the Nuki waves, right, the better. I am scared for the WhiWa meta moving forward, and I personally don't like that characters like Imith and Hiyuki are kind of like unilaterally becoming better in the game modes. But I do see the vision that Kuro has over here because Imith was really fucking bad. Imith, with like her TOA performance compared to her WhiWa performance, it's like really bad. But they're now kind of making WhiWa almost the same as TOA now, where it's just, hey, like, just having more damage and your grouping doesn't matter as much if you one-shot everything. Yeah. That's a massive change like for WhiWa. Now let's go ahead, let's start breaking it down, let's see it. Tier 0, we're gonna have Frolova and Sigriga and Shuyan. Shuyan supports both of them. They're, without a doubt, obscene. Like, Sigriga has aged so well as people figured out how to use her kit. She's retardedly broken. Also works into arrow resistance, by the way. I got clearable scores with her into arrow resistance. Frolova, though, definitely has dropped down. My scores with her have dropped down like a solid, maybe like 1,000 plus, while my Sigriga scores have actually stayed the same. You want to know why? Because Sigriga was overkilling mobs before. But now her damage is like still one-shotting waves. Frolova, though, I think Sigriga might actually be better than Frolova now. Not joking. And now tier 0.5. You got Imith, and she needs Denia. And then you got Hiyuki over here. Yeah, Hiyuki looks fair to me over here. I've always been saying she should have been bumped up because her multi-hits, all of that, her high damage, it has been feeling good. Ameth is definitely obscene with Denia. I was able to use Denia on side 1 with Imeth, which is like absurd because Denia is should not even be playable on side 1. Also, minor bug over here. They have Denia in tier 1, even though she should be in tier 1, 0.5. So just imagine she's with here with Lupa and Linne. Lupa and Linne, though. I think Linne needs to be bumped down. Because I think the only DPS that Linne actually works well with now is Hiyuki. And then she ungroups, bro. Yeah, Linne is such an active anti-grouper with her jumping, and then she only works with, like, Hiyuki right now. I don't know. I don't think she needs to be up here. I think she can get lowered. I think that'd be good, though. Yeah, her rotation is awful in that fucking game mode. It's obscene. And then Chisa, slated to be bumped up very soon. She might be the first tier 0. But yeah, no, I think she belongs here, considering that she supports her... Oh, God, where's Cardathea? I don't even want to look to find out where Cardathea is, bro. She got it. She out of here. And Cardathea, wherever the fuck she is. Shorekeeper over here as well? Meh. Do we even use Shorekeeper that often nowadays, bro? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if Shorekeeper's still good. I haven't really seen any Shorekeeper teams clearing nowadays. Maybe it's mainly for Augusta. Who knows? And then in tier 1, Augusta is going to be the lone DPS. I guess I'll trust Prydwen retesting every single team just to see like if they're still able to maintain good times. Maybe it's because Augusta has that big hit on her ultimate that was always overkilling before. It's not overkilling anymore, and so it's basically just the same. That makes sense to me. Tier 1, Cantarella getting bumped down. Yeah, I guess that's fair because she's only used with Frolova, and then baseline as a character not that good. Chakota's still good with a bunch of, like, the Gion and then the other teams, so I think that's fair. And then Denia should be in tier 0.5. I think that's fair for her as well, because she can't be tier 0 with quick swap level performance. Verena and Mornier down here. Yeah, that's fair. I think Mornier can maybe actually be bumped down, because you're not... What Mornier team are you playing? Mornier, Linne, Hiyuki? Maybe. I don't really think so, though. And now we got tier 1.5. I think Gian and Galbreda getting bumped down, it makes sense for me. They really suffered because of the WhiWa HP inflation. I don't think anyone could disagree with that. Cardathea, let's be real here. She doesn't have enough time to build up enough stacks for her ultimate to one-shot anything. So it's like, it's a little bit odd. Like, Cart, I feel like, is also suffering a lot from the HP inflation. Yeah, and the enemies are arrow res, so it's not like you can even try her out, if we're being fair. And then Luke getting bumped up. Yeah, I mean, he can clear now, but he's still not good. He's still not good in WhiWa, but he definitely can clear now. He wasn't able to clear before. And then, you know, yeah, I guess with Gian being bumped down, but Augusta still being up, her being bumped down is also fair too. And then Arrow Rover down here, it is what it is. Now you got Zada being bumped down. Bro, dude, I feel like she is actually now unplayable. You might only be able to get WhiWa clears out of Wallenstein's now. Brent getting bumped down too. Yeah, his anchor's not one-shotting shit anymore. And if his anchor's not one-shotting anything, you're cooked. Spectre Rover down as well. Mortefi down. Okay, no, this is just like everyone across the board getting bumped down. And I think that's fair because all these guys were more of like the sustained damage dealers, or they didn't do insane bursts of damage in the first place. And so nowadays, just having high damage is really the best way to clear the game mode. Carlotta tier 4? Jinxie tier 4? But I thought the nukers were supposed to do better, but maybe they can't get past the 1-cost waves now. I don't know. WhiWa looks cooked, bro. Can't they, like, add some sort of mechanic where if you overkill a wave, you, like, store the damage and can apply to the next wave or something and, like, make this shit, like, just not gay for 90% of the roster? Because this is the thing. They solved the overkilling problem. Now only the characters that deal a metric shit ton of burst damage feel good now. Only characters that deal insane, retarded burst damage feel good, and all of the old, good WhiWa characters now feel bad. They even made Frolova actually feel not that good. Like, straight up, I think Sagrika actually is just outright better than Frolova right now. I'm not even joking. I will put money on Sagrika outright just being better than Frolova, assuming you play them at, like, the max level possible. Because Frolova got giga nerfed. Bro, she got giga fucking nerfed. I'm not even joking. Frolova was better than Sagrika in the last update, whatever they did with the HP made Sigrika better. It's absurd. I think WhiWa is truly the biggest disaster of them all. 20% HP inflation is insane in terms of warping and shifting meta relevance. I hope they take it back. I hope they rework it, because right now, this game mode is honestly just fucked in the ass. Like, I don't even know what to say. It's like not even good or fun anymore. Some could argue it was never good or fun from the start, but it is at the lowest levels of fun that I feel like it's ever been in, because I feel like I cannot use 90% of my roster. It legitimately feels like I cannot use like 75, maybe 75% of my roster. And it's way more restrictive than End State, TOA, everything else. It's just, I don't look forward to it. But it's still a free video, you know what I mean. Now let's go ahead and take a look at, well, good old Denia's review page and see what Prydwen did over here when it comes to the job. Tier 0 TOA, Tier 0.5 in WhiWa. Part of 2 of the best non-quick swap teams in the game and the best quick swap team in the game. Plays into both Fusion Burst and Toon Strain. Has lots of viable weapon options in Fusion Burst mode. True, it doesn't really matter what weapon you use for Denia in Fusion Burst mode. You can use Cosmic Ripples. It matters a lot more in Toon Strain mode. Constant off-field grouping makes single target oriented DPSs excel in AoE scenarios. Not really excel. Luke is like decent, but he's not like, oh my gosh, this guy is broken. Not like that. Fast rotation, high damage, strong buffs, and utilities. Has all the markings of a top-tier secondary buffer or damage dealer. She just only works with 2 DPSs in the game. Yeah, that's the first con. Only plays into 2 team compositions. Both are limited in support options. And if you don't have either team, she has no flexibility to speak of. Just say she's useless. If you don't have Imith, you don't have Luke, and you also don't have some sort of blend of Chisa and Mornia, she's kind of fucking useless, bro. It is what it is. Significantly more signature weapon dependent if used in Toon Strain mode, becomes a pretty recommended pickup. Her weapon options are really fucking bad, and you really do want the weapon in Toon Strain mode. Otherwise, you want String Mastering. If you don't have any other, and you're using Cosmic Ripples, yeah, your shit is kind of cooked. Uses 3 different Echo sets and her 3 most important team options. This is my take. If you're running the Denia Lupa team, like, bro, it's just, you can do it for sure. But I think that if you're at the point where you're rotating 3 different Echo sets on one character, just fucking pull Chisa. Just go pull and use Chisa, so you don't have to worry about 3 different fucking Echo sets on one character, bro. Try it. No, I'm good. It's also not much better. I don't even know what you retarded people are even saying. It's literally worse than Chisa, and it's only used for one reason. End State Matrix Vigor. You're gonna you're gonna build an entire goddamn Echo set for End State Matrix Vigor? Go for it if you want. I don't think that's worth it. I feel like her having 2 Echo sets was already like, oh yeah, you're kind of like breaking your resources. But to build her a 3rd is just, it's fucking criminal, bro. Bro, I already spent like 3,000 tuners on 2 of them. I'm good, man. Fuck that shit. I'm out of here. Yeah, I don't know. I would hope that for the next dual purpose sub DPS that they end up having in the future, they are inspired more by Imith's Sonata set design, where, I don't know, it works for both of her fucking forms, versus the Denia approach, where you have a different Sonata set for each form. Bro, I'm just gonna be honest with you. Bit of a pain in the ass, but it is what it is, right? It is what it is. But I think Prydwen is very fair over here when they're pointing out some of the weaknesses, some of the pitfalls, some of the shortcomings of the kit over here. I think they did a good job. But I think the other thing that I would say is that, like, guys, are we watching the same performance over here for, like, Denia? And, like, are we watching the same performance here of Denia in the TOA? I feel like she is actually not good in the TOA, bro. But maybe I've been playing her wrong. Who knows? We'll revisit that later. But for a Prydwen tier list update, I'm not going to lie, this was pretty catastrophic, but we can blame Kuro Games for that one. Let me know what you all thought. Peace out.